Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty bad news when it comes to PlayStation, where it does kind of seem like PlayStation itself is, well, kinda not doing so hot. We are now actually seeing some really big leaks and reports and tweets and public acknowledgements when it comes to PlayStation 5 game that a lot of folks have been hyped up for, and even a lot of folks are even expecting, myself included, to be involved in the PlayStation event that happened a few days ago. And now this one may be a little bit more on the worst side because, well, right now, they're kind of leveraging Bungie to come up with these decisions. We're also kind of hearing more news too as well, and just maybe potential delays and or even cancellations. And this is also one of the biggest games I think a lot of folks are somewhat known about, /T/leaked. So let's go talk about this. As well, if you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below if you guys want to follow. And besides, for other good old consoles too as well, of course, give me your thoughts and comments down below. So this is actually kind of a big one. So if you guys do or do not know, PlayStation has some pretty big IPs. And most recently, The Last of Us has been one of the bigger ones. But sadly, well, it's not been going too hot. One big thing to note is that, well, The Last of Us game, that's basically like the big multiplayer game, technically this weird almost spin-off type style game, is not running through such good news. So very first and foremost, they actually did go make an official tweet and announcement over here saying, from Naughty Dog themselves, with over 5 million views already, it's been making its way around town, The Last of Us fans. We know many of you have been looking forward to hearing more about our The Last of Us multiplayer game. We're incredibly proud of the job our studio has done thus far, but, and whenever they throw in a random but, it's never good, but as development has continued, we've realized that what is best for the game is to give it more time. So that's not the world's worst news. We can live with this. That could be worse. Our team will continue to work on the project, as well as our other games in development, including a brand new single-player experience. We look forward to sharing more soon. So let me go break down that too. So basically this game, we're going to talk about this a little bit more, but apparently people have actually been laid off from the game, as well as also people have play tested the game and people are not even finding it a good game. We're going to get to that in a second. But it's kind of the big drama. So basically they were losing employees. They're losing maybe potential funding, either from PlayStation or from the Naughty Dog higher-ups to be like, hey, we can still maybe throw you a little bit of money, but we should probably go and put, let's say, $50 million more manpower on Last of Us Part 3. That's a rumor, just randomly saying as an example, rather than having the Last of Us multiplayer, because maybe it's going to flop, or maybe they don't know, or maybe they need to go back to the drawing board and reassess it, and then maybe later on put more attention into it. They also go and wind down saying, we're grateful to our fantastic community for your support. Thank you for your passion for our games. It continues to drive us. Now, a lot of folks have not been happy. Now, but there actually has been a pretty big article that came over here too. I'm just using this as a paywall, basically stating over from Jason Schreier discussing about the ongoing development of this multiplayer game. A little more of a bigger leak, a little bit more bigger attention, stating, Sony Group Corp has slowed down development on an upcoming multiplayer game and its long-running The Last of Us video game series as the creators reassess its quality and long-term viability, according to 4 people familiar with the project. So, this is actually from inside actual proper leaks from the studio folks and people significantly with the studio itself discussing and talking about this. And that's not good because this is one of the bigger games that a lot of folks were excited for, a lot of folks were hyped up for, and it's just sad to go and see. I would have played this game. It was kind of giving me a little bit of a DayZ type, survival-esque type vibe. We haven't seen proper gameplay, so we don't really know, just based on the environments and how the game flow kind of seemed, and how the actual Last of Us game itself played, scrounging around, finding gear, finding ammo, crafting stuff, which once again would make a lot of good sense for a DayZ type style survival-based shooter type game, which I think would be awesome. Imagine big open map. You're basically allowed to go and search around the map itself. You may have 30, 40, 60, whatever folks in the map itself. And you just have to go and craft ammo, find stuff, loot stuff, in a proper apocalyptic scenario, or even almost a BR type style game. I would love that if it was done well in a similar style that was not a traditional Fortnite style, but its own Last of Us unique, maybe slower paced, but more serious type style game. The team working on the game was scaled back after a recent evaluation. So basically, they have lost employees, less funding, less people work on the project, and typically most good games don't lose funding, they more so get more funding, said the people, who asked not to be named because they weren't authorized to even speak publicly. A small group remains on the project while the company reevaluates the direction. While the game has not been canceled, thankfully, many of its developers have now been moved on to other projects. So right now, they're still trying to go and see if it's even worth the money. Now, it's probably one of those things where they've invested a few years and probably millions of dollars into, so if they could maintain that super good squad of 10 people, 20 people, whatever it might be, that are really committed. So think like a storyboard director if they're trying to do single player stuff, or like overall game flow designer. And they can still pay these people on payroll because they're making a lot of money for their games and have Sony backing. And they'd have random one guy making $100K a year, but he'll go and propose and pitch 8 different ideas throughout the next 6 months and be like, hey, we can maybe try this direction. What do you guys think? Does it sound fun? No? Okay, back to the drawing board. Oh, hey, like this is our big main coder guy. He thinks we can maybe do this, this, and this. Good idea, bad idea. No, you don't like those? Okay, we'll go back to the drawing board. And then at some point, if the game itself has, let's say, like 6 months from now, and they have no cool next direction, and no one's really liking the ideas and changes, at that point, they may just go and cancel the game. But right now, they still do have people working on it and funding it, which is nice. So following a request from comment from Bloomberg News, Naughty Dog, the Sony subsidiary, working on the project, put out a statement, which I showed you guys at the start of the video, stating, we've realized what's best for the game is to give it more time to go and cook. The Last of Us franchise began as a video game in 2013, and the various releases have sold more than 37 million units as of December, according to Sony. It has been since grown into a larger cultural phenomenon thanks to the HBO show, which once again, they probably want to make sure the standards are extremely high. Because if you're out there and you have a lot of either people maybe having their very first ever gaming experience, or as well want to maybe even potentially buy a PlayStation 5 just for a game like Last of Us or Last of Us multiplayer, which you guys may not think that's a big console seller, I think it is, especially with how big the HBO show was, and even looking at analytics from like Amazon, the PlayStation Store, etc. After the show, a lot of people did like bought the game. It was really good. And as well, like if it's a big enough, cool enough game, people will literally buy consoles for a good multiplayer game, without a doubt. So Naughty Dog's been developing the multiplayer title for at least 4 years, which once again is not a good thing if it's losing funding and less attention. It started as a complementary mode to The Last of Us Part 2, the single-player game released though in 2020, but the creators grew ambitious and decided to make its own game, Naughty Dog said, which sometimes ambition is a blessing and a curse. Sony has invested heavily in games as a service or video games designed to be monetized beyond their initial sales through ongoing purchases. As part of the push, it asked another one of its video game studios, and this is kind of even a bigger one, Seattle-based Bungie, to evaluate the game across its portfolio. So they're now at this point also literally asking other game studios underneath the PlayStation banner to go and be like, hey, can you play the game? Like, what we need feedback. We need someone else who knows like a live service style game, because don't forget Destiny is a live service style game. They want to be like, hey, is this game good? Would you play it yourself? What would you do change differently? When you're in like your big game studios discussing the future of Destiny or how they're going to change up quests or stories or whatever, do you like this? This is fun. What about Marathon that just got announced? Like, what's the deets? How do we make our game better? And then as they basically went and said this one, Bungie was not happy. Bungie raised questions about The Last of Us multiplayer project's ability to keep players engaged for a long period of time, which led to the reassessment. And this is kind of, I mean, it's good. It's good that they're like having these discussions and talking because I don't want to know at the end of the day, but it's never good when a game that's done pretty well, like Destiny is a good live service game, all things considered, like feedback or whatever. It's a good game. People still play it. If even they're like, hey, how are gonna people want to keep playing this? That's not a good sign. That's not a good thing to go and see. So single multiplayer games generally require different skill sets to develop, which, as you guys know, Last of Us is more of a single player game. And although Naughty Dog has found some success with multiplayer modes in some of its titles, they've also been mainly known for making single player games rather than multiplayer games. So, I was excited for this game. I'm actually still am excited for this game nonetheless. But it does make me kind of sad, and it also seems like it might not be here for the next few years, or on top of that, may even get canceled because this just does not seem like a good sign. This doesn't seem good at all, and they will still work on the game too, and I'm happy they are putting effort into it, but that's not what I'm expecting at the end of the day. So, give me your thoughts and comments on this one all down below. Now, as well, kind of like a little bit of a positive news, if you guys missed it, the Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3 launch on the PlayStation 5 in the Master Collection, in case you guys have been waiting for this one, so you guys can creep on this and sneak on this in case you guys would like, as you guys want to. So as of right now, they do have all these good little informations and bits and pieces over here for this good old little HD collection coming out too, and I'm still waiting for the nice Metal Gear Solid 3 game that was just recently announced over there, but we have a chance to go check out this type of stuff too. So just in case you guys want to, we have all these nice little cool dope things coming to the console on other prior generation things on here for the good old autumn 2023. So I want to hear all your thoughts and comments, because I think a lot of folks are going to be upset about the Naughty Dog news about the game. I myself am upset about about that news. It's not good stuff to hear. I like seeing new games. I had big expectations for this game. Give me your thoughts and comments because I'm pretty sad. As well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below in case you guys want to follow. I have all the Amazon links too as well down below too if you guys want to creep on those. Leave your like and thoughts, and we'll talk to you guys all probably for a nice little mini video maybe tonight. Love you guys.